Welcome to the finance section. I'm Dr. Chen Lee, and I have prepared several lectures for you to study. But first, let's discuss what is finance and what we will study for this module. What is finance? Generally, finance is dealing with money or the management of money. We can also say finance is a study about value, including but not limited to the value of a financial asset or security, including a bond or a stock, the value of a new project or venture the company is trying to have, or the value of the whole company or corporation. Now, speaking of value, what matters to value, or what kind of factors determine the value of a financial asset? This is actually one of the most important concepts in finance. And a lot of formulas, models, equations you may later study in finance actually are built upon the understanding of these concepts. So if I say I'm going to give you money, and I'm going to give you $100, or if I'm going to give you $1,000, what would you choose? Of course, you will choose the offer with $1,000. That means any financial asset that potentially can offer you higher amount of cash flows should be valued higher. That's no-brainer, right? And speaking of timing is also important. If I give you money now for the same amount, or if I give you money 5 years later, then you may want to prefer getting the money now, right? So this tells you that time also has its value, and any asset that would give you money earlier should be valued higher. And also, assets with lower risk or uncertainty should be valued higher than assets with more or higher level of risks. So generally, we say value is determined by three factors: amount of the cash flow, timing of the cash flow, and the riskiness of the cash flow. And put them together, the value of a financial asset is determined by the total present value of the cash flows this asset is expected to generate in the future. This is, as I mentioned before, pretty important concept, and we will definitely see that or have more discussion or understanding about it later on through our lessons or lectures. Now, in finance, we have several sub-areas of study. We have investment. Some of you guys may take the graduate investment class in your MBA program. We have corporate finance, financial management. So if you take the financial administration class later in your MBA program, we mainly deal with the corporate finance sub-area. We also have financial institution and markets. And also we have international finance. So these are the four major sub-areas of finance that people study. As I mentioned, we focus more on the corporate finance, and you also need to understand that since this is the intro level class, the concept that we introduce here will or should be applied later in all the sub-areas of study in finance. Now, speaking of corporate finance mainly deal with the value, or say study what kind of factors would contribute to the value of a corporation, and how a corporation can create and maximize the value for its shareholders, owners, through the decisions of financing, investing, and distributing, or say paying back cash flows. In this module, we will introduce the following essential finance topics. In lecture 1, we'll study the financial analysis. This is built on your understanding from your accounting classes where you studied the major financial statements. And then in lecture 2, we'll have an overview of the financial market and financial products. And in lecture 3, this is like the foundation of finance study or finance principles, the time value of money. And in lecture 4 and 5, I would say they are the applications of Lecture 3, where you apply the concept of time value and techniques of time value of money in bond valuation and stock valuation. Now, before you go ahead reading or studying those lectures, I have several advices for you. Of course, you should study or read the lecture slides carefully, and you should also pay attention to the examples and practice questions I put in the lectures. You may want to practice with them and try to get the results without looking at my solution. So this is to make sure that you can get your solution or results independently. And I would also suggest that you try to apply some of the concepts or topics in your daily life. For example, think about your mortgage payment. What kind of factors inputs do you need to calculate your own mortgage payment? You can also watch CNBC, read Wall Street Journal, and see how the financial market moves every day. And you may also try to go find a financial statement of a real company like Walmart and do some financial analysis and see or have your own judgment about their financial performance and health. And of course, since this is an online class, really try to remember, take the exam before the deadline.